Peter Zalmayev, the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, and Taras Berezovets, a Ukrainian political analyst and the founder of Free Crimea Project. Thank you both for joining us. Peter, first a question for you and what we're seeing in terms of a build-up from the Russians towards the east of the country. What do you expect we're going to see there when this action actually starts in full throttle, as many experts are warning it's about to do?
Well, indeed, Max, it's going to be full throttle. There's a very important date in the Russian calendar coming up, May 9th, which is the day of the Soviet victory over the Nazi Germany. It's a sacred day for Vladimir Putin. It's the day when a parade marches up and down the Red Square. He knows he's going to have to pony up some goods for his subjects, so to speak. After this enormous amount of blood that has been spilled on the part of the Russian troops and the treasure that has been spent on this war. We're going to see, according to Ukrainian officials, Ukrainian experts, it's going to be a much more of a traditional sort of battle with a lot of tanks, a lot of artillery fire, aviation, etc. But when we say traditional, we also mean traditional by Russian standards. Russians don't play by the rules. We're already hearing reports that the chemical weapons may have been used in Mariupol to try to knock out the remaining bits of resistance there. So we've seen Russians in action in Syria, in Chechnya. They play dirty, and really, all bets are off as far as what they will do to try to produce some sort of victory for Vladimir Putin by May 9th.
Taras, we haven't had those reports confirmed of the use of chemical weapons in Mariupol, but the response you're generally getting from the West is that we need to be ready for that to happen, even if it didn't happen on that occasion. What did you make of those reports?
Yes, Max. Actually, my mother-in-law, she escaped from Mariupol just nearly a week ago. I couldn't report it earlier because it was absolutely not secure, but luckily she escaped with her mom, who just died 2 days, and we buried her just quite far away from her hometown of Mariupol. And what she said about what was going on in there, it was a completely nightmare. The Russian tactics was so brutal, attacking residential houses, killing people, raping women, and doing every possible war crime. So from his perspective, of course, Russians can do anything like this, because for Russians, like Peter said, the sacred date of 9th of May is so important. Vladimir Putin is so important that he will do everything possible to knock out Ukrainian forces, Ukrainian Marines, about 1,500 of them still in Mariupol under attack in the factory of Azovstal. And because this location is so secure, it's like a stronghold. For Russians, like they said, Basurin, one of chiefs of these terrorists, he actually stated on Russian state TV that they may use chemical weapons to kill Ukrainian military.
Peter, we're just hearing there, more testimony about rapes, rape as a weapon of war. We've had multiple news organizations getting first-hand testimony, but even in the last 12 hours, the Kremlin has denied that that is the case. But over time, there will be evidence of this, presumably. I mean, what do you make of the Kremlin's constant denials about any sort of abuses?
Well, we're seeing this is the situation where a KGB man is running a country and is effectively running the military. It is an old, tried and true tactic by the KGB, never to acknowledge any wrong. And this is like the playbook. This is what the KGB officers are trained to do, to deny, deny, deny. I mean, we are seeing that the Russian army right now is the dirtiest army that plays by no rules whatsoever. The Ukrainian prosecutor general has already reported up to 6,000 war crimes that have been committed in Ukraine. Ukrainians are collecting all the evidence. They have set up their own commission. As you know, the American president has called for the creation of some sort of a truth commission. We will eventually get the true picture of Russian atrocities, but it will probably have to be after Vladimir Putin dies.
Taras, So sorry to hear about your family there in Mariupol. How did they survive so long there? How are they living?
They were spending all the time a month. They spent a month in a bomb shelter, and luckily enough, they had some small stream of fresh water. And mainly due to this, they survived. But many people from surrounding areas, they came to their bomb shelter to get this fresh water. And because of Russian bombing, several people have been killed, including neighbors of my mother-in-law. She said they just came out to find out some bread and some food, and they all have been killed by Russian bombs. And the pictures which she describes to me, it was so horrible. Kids killed by Russian occupants because the kids, the families, they were trying to escape from the city, and they were killed in their private cars, and they were killed just on the roads. Some people beheaded by Russians and by Kadyrov Chechen fighters. And like President Zelensky said yesterday, we would see hundreds or even thousands of Ukrainians killed in Mariupol. Nobody knows how many civilians have been killed in there, but these pictures, these people who escaped from Mariupol, they need all assistance from medics, from doctors, especially psychiatrists, because this makes some people, they go mad.
Max, let me just add that, whatever we've seen in Bucha, obviously that's going to be pending. Any sort of charges of genocide will have to be backed up by a very, very thorough investigation. But the Russians have already helped with the investigation. A few days after Bucha, RIA Novosti, a major Russian outlet, has published a piece according to which Ukraine must be de-Ukrainianized. All Ukrainians have been declared enemies of Russia and have to be cleansed. I'm just quoting quite verbatim from that document. So we already have the practical, and the theoretical. What we are seeing is very much, I think, genocidal. Once again, it has to be proved, but we already have plenty of evidence.
Yeah, and the Americans saying the evidence isn't there yet, but as you say, it's so important to gather that evidence right now as the Russians pull out of those areas. Peter Zalmayev and Taras Berezovets, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and our thoughts with both your families.